Well, greetings, visitors to the paper prison. It is I, your host, the Comics Prisoner, sentenced for crimes against comic illustration to be forever imprisoned within beautiful pieces of comic art. Welcome back. And today is no different, as I find myself confined to a beautiful page from a series called Love and Rockets, lovingly rendered and written by one Jaime Hernandez, or maybe it's Jaime Hernandez. I don't know if the J is supposed to be silent. My high school Spanish is failing me. Now, I hope I am not perpetuating a stereotype by conflating the labors of Hispanic artists with prison iconography, but such is life. Now, this is a bit of a departure for the Comics Prisoner in that this is the first page that we're talking about that I did not encounter as a child, that didn't come into my life in my formative years and helped form my opinions of what comic art is supposed to be. This is a work that I encountered in my alleged adulthood, and I'm looking at it with adult eyes, and boy, am I amazed. Just to clarify things, this title is done by two brothers, Los Brothers Hernandez, Jaime and Gilbert Hernandez. They split the art chores of the book between the two of them. One gets one half, one gets the other half to tell their individual stories. In both cases, each brother draws, inks, and writes their own stories, which as a child would have blown me away, someone who can do all three at once, probably lettering too. But now I'm an adult and I'm starting to run into that more and more, and I'm starting to find it to be more normal, but no less impressive. Now, just to give a little background on me and my discovery of this title, I saw the titles, I saw the covers of the book on the shelves or on the back wall of comic shops, but it wasn't really registering in my intellect. The first time I was really consciously aware of Love and Rockets and the art and the artists was when they were featured in the documentary Comic Book Confidential. And the reason for that was mostly monetary. I only had so much money to spend on comics, and I was very stingy and very scared to try new things. When I was a child, I had a small budget because my parents didn't want me reading comics to begin with. And when I got out on my own, I was then paying rent, utilities, car payments, what have you. And it was still not so much strapped for cash, but there was a little marvelous comic company out there that was flooding the market with just a ton of titles. And if I was going to follow all of them, it pretty much took all of my buying budget. So that is the reason why it took me a while to discover Love and Rockets. And as I look back, I am just filled with regret and sadness that I wasn't on the Love and Rockets train from the get-go. And even after I was intellectually aware that these things existed, and I was aware of their worth, it still didn't come quickly. I still needed an entree, and that entree probably was Steve Rude's work on Nexus. Rude's work is not overly rendered either. It's very much a case of he's very aware of the light source, and the lines are mostly drawing the shadows and maybe some other contour lines. In that, I feel Rude's work shares a lot with Jaime Hernandez's work. It's my personal fan wish to have Steve Rude draw an issue of Love and Rockets and Jaime Hernandez to draw an issue of Nexus. I think that'd be really cool. So with that out of the way, let's get back to my discovery of Love and Rockets. Much has been written about it. I don't need to really sing its praises, but I will point out that this was a unique, a signature piece of work from an artist. It wasn't the product that, say, Marvel and DC Comics can be, where you you sign on to extend the life of this commercial franchise. He's an artist. He had something to say, and I think it's really just great. He's not just telling a story. He's telling a story about his life and the people around him, and in many ways, we actually age with the artists, not just the characters in the work. Because in the beginning, I think the characters were a little more svelte because they were young. As I like to say, everyone's beautiful at 19. It's really not that hard at 19 to be beautiful. But as the characters grew and the artists grew and the people around him grew, you could see that the weight of time is rendered on them, and they become a little heavier. Which makes them even more realistic. To the point where now I am sitting here in one of the latest pages of the series. A page where we can see every year and every blood, sweat, and tear of effort that the artist has and every bit of knowledge being laid on there. I know the drawing style may seem simple to some people, but it is actually the work of a master. The lines are sensitive and knowledgeable, and can give a wealth of information in the most minimum amount of strokes. It truly is the work of a master. And therein lies a problem. The problem being is, as I come with each successive episode here, I'm always saying, well, this person's a master, and this person's a master, and this person's a master. Seems like there's no shortage of masters. And unfortunately, in American society, we assign value to rarity. Wow, if there's so many masters, I guess it's just not as hard or a valuable thing as we think. But here's the thing. Yes, you can have thousands of masters, but no two will never be alike. We'll never have thousands of John Buscema's or thousands of Al Hirschfeld, and we will never have thousands of Jaime Hernandez. He's one of a kind, and that's one of the wonderful things about comic art. So, when I'm talking about a master here and mastery, it's not just about drawing or inking. It's also about stage work and visual storytelling, and the subtlety in this page is so much going on here. And the reason I can't explain it all is because it's dependent on the pages that came before it. There's a ton of payoff here in Perla's and this Hopi Maggie faces, and unless you have seen the pages before, you're just not getting the full effect. So I'm just going to zero in on the easiest things to feature right now. Let's look on the very top left hand panel. It's a wordless panel, but the reader knows everything that's going on here. There is so much information subtly and masterfully conveyed. Let's look at Esther's figure here. You can just tell by her body English that there's a lot going on right now in her head. Number one, you can tell that there's some things that's bothering her and things she doesn't want to talk about. Conversely, her body English is also saying she is ramping up the nerve to talk about it. Those are two diametrically opposed concepts being played out in the same drawing. I just don't know how he did that, but it is just wonderful, and it just comes with really a lot of living too. I mean, real artists that are the most effective have had life experiences. And like I said, just look at one. It looks like she wants to say something, to Perla, but she's not. But also, she's going to. She's ramping up that nerve. It's just really great. Okay, I'll just let you enjoy that on your own. Now let's go down to the fourth panel. This is something I want to talk about, his mastery as an anatomist, as a renderer, of a visual artist. Let's look at Perla's body here. I've talked about how, okay, she's a real woman that would have lived in Jamie's life. And I'm looking at her thigh, and we all know as we get older, and there's folds and everything, and there's something, there's like cellulite deposits. On Perla's thigh, there's two strokes that indicate that cellulite. I can't tell you how easily that could have gone wrong. If you try to render it like a photograph, you would have so many marks there that it stops becoming a texture and starts becoming scars. It isn't going to be the thing which he means it to be. It actually transcends drawing, and it becomes an alphabet. I've often said when I've taught that after a while the lines can become so abstract that they become like letters. There's two ways you can draw a tree. You can lovingly render a tree, or you can just mark T-R-E-E, and your mind will see a tree. It's really just one step removed from the pictographic written languages of the Asian cultures, Japanese and Chinese and Korean. It's a little hard for me to explain, but that's what I see. I mean, that's the level he's working on. This level. He's not just drawing like, say, my hairy beard. He's saving time for himself too, but it's also effective. He's giving the symbols for this thing which you've seen before, and your mind is projecting it on there. Pretty damn masterful, if you ask me. And the rest of the page is just more of the same. Just the same subtlety and masterful drawing and years of experience being poured out on the page, plus all the payoffs, subtle payoffs from what's come before. So again, I find myself in a place where I've hit my ability to analyze. It is so good. And like I said, it's not just ability and skill. It's the years of blood, sweat, and tears, the knowledge just being poured out on this page so effortlessly that you don't even notice it. So again, I'm just going to leave this page here for your enjoyment. And the warden has just told me that visiting hours is coming to a close. And as he is wont to do, he's reminding me to say that if you like what you've seen here, please feel free to like, subscribe, smash the bell, tell your friends. And please comment in the comment field. I'd love to hear what you think of Los Brothers Hernandez. And if you would like to learn more about Love and Rockets and enjoy more of Love and Rockets, please try going to your local comic book shop and asking them what they have on stock. Fortunately, almost all of it is in some kind of bound collection. At the very least, you can Google Amazon. I'm sure you can buy it there, and I gotta tell you, it'll be money well spent. So that's it for now, visitors to the paper prison. Until next time, when I move to another page, I just want to say, 4 walls do not a prison make, but comics can be a very cool prison. Take care.